What's up, Internet? I'm Follygon, here with your daily dose of ZBrush and work motivation. In this video, I have a speed sculpt for you of your favorite rare characters, Banjo and Kazooie. And while this pretty simplistic sculpt is playing, I would like to talk to you guys about a particular topic that I've been thinking a lot about lately. And it's something my roommate and I have discussed multiple times in the past, something we like to talk about a lot. And it's essentially learning more about learning. And I've come to somewhat of a theorized answer. Self-help, self-improvement does not come from a book. It does not come from a TED Talk or from a YouTube video, because self-help, improving of oneself, what we like to call learning, right, is gained from experience. When you hear about someone's experience that truly teaches you something, it comes from a story, because that is something we can relate to, something we can place ourselves in and almost live through that experience ourselves. You see, true learning does not come from your parent telling you not to touch a stove because it is hot. It comes from touching the stove and finding out what hot really means, right? So I helped my good friend move in with me over New Year's weekend, and while moving some of his stuff into what would be our kitchen, his parents started asking me questions about my stovetop. They were wondering if I had ever used this particular type of stove before, and I was super confused. I was looking at my stove, trying to figure out if there's a secret switch on it that turned it into a spaceship or what the heck they were talking about. It wasn't anything special to me. It was just an electric stovetop. Black shiny glass, plastic material all over it. So I said yes, I've used this type of stove before to them, told them, wondering kind of where this conversation was going. They then proceeded to tell me that it was very difficult to clean grease and dirt off of these types of stovetops, and that they recommend that we buy a particular product that they use that would remove any and all grease that ever got stuck to this sucker. So of course I took this information with a grain of salt, because to me, I'd never had an issue in the past and I wasn't too sure why it was such a big deal. Maybe they knew something about their son's poor cooking habits that I did not at the time. Maybe future me would have looked back and, just said, get the cleaner. You see, I didn't realize what happened in this interaction until a couple weeks later when I was cooking a burger on top of my stove. A situation in which you can most likely guess what happened next if you're following the track of my line of thinking here. I spilled grease. I spilled grease on the stovetop. And guess what? I immediately wiped it up with a towel. Boom. Done. Clean. But in that moment, I thought back to my roommate's parents telling me about this cleaner. What had actually happened in this situation, I think, was that they had an experience where something very similar happened to them. They had spilled some grease or something on their stove, and they needed this cleaner. Whether they had it or not, they needed it in this moment. And they told me from their experience to attempt to teach me, to protect me, to help me, because they wanted to protect and help me. They're great people. But in this relay of information, they had forgotten the critical piece. They told me what they had learned, but not why and how they had learned it. They forgot the experience. And this is why I feel that so many kids think their parents are dumb and don't understand them. Berated with rules to follow and not knowing why. Your parents tell their teenagers they must be home before midnight. No ifs, ands, or buts, right? Which sucks. But if you tell them the why, if you give them a memorable experience of, I don't know, maybe the time you and your friends snuck out and stole your neighbor's lawn ornaments, all your neighbor's lawn ornaments, and spray painted them gold and almost got arrested. Maybe they'll think twice about it the next time. Likewise, my friend's parents lacked that experience in their relay to me. I had not heard nor experienced the touching of the proverbial stove yet to burn myself and truly learn what hot really was. I had not lived their experience and spilled grease on my stove and needed this cleaner. So what's the solution here? Always teach in stories? Maybe, but also educating people, I think, about learning how to learn, how to grow, how to level up, because conversation, teaching, learning is a two-way street, right? Not only does the person attempting to teach you have to be good at speaking or writing or conveying their message on television, but the person learning and receiving information must also be a good listener. And the more we can learn about learning, the better we can get. If you tell me, hey, Folly, you say and make all these kinds of filler noises that don't serve any purpose other than giving you a moment to collect your thoughts, I'll be like, alright, thank you, I didn't know I did that so much, but I probably won't become amazing at not doing that immediately. Probably not until I practiced it a few times, or listened to some really good speakers, or walked around my home like a lunatic, talking to myself, practicing not using any filler words, no ums, no whatever. But and there I go again. But if I know that people learn best through experience, I can place myself into more of those situations. I can consciously practice more. I can visualize myself doing this, simply because I know that through experience is how people truly learn. Okay, so let me bring all this back home real quick here. This is why I believe so much in practice, in doing. Every single person has no idea what they're doing when they start, and that's totally fine. That's because you lack the experience, you lack the practice. I am such a firm, strong believer in practice and in doing. You know, so many people ask me all the time, like, how to get started in ZBrush. And you can watch as many tutorials as you want. You can talk to as many people as you want to watch. You can go on the ZBrush Central forums and do all you can there. But the truth is that you're never going to actually progress. You're never actually going to concrete, learn, and improve unless you practice. And unless you get in there, get in the polys, get deep in them polys, right? And practice. Like, that's how you get better. That's how I have improved. That's how I went from going from complete zero and not knowing anything about art to less than 2 years later having a full-time job in the industry, working full-time in ZBrush on characters. And I got there because I practiced. I practiced. I did watch the videos. I did watch the tutorials. You know, I did all that stuff that a lot of people think they need to do and do need to do, but the freaking keystone of it all, right up there up top, is that every single day, you sit down and you get to work. So try to focus on this conscious learning, this conscious practice. Try to get feedback. Try to find where you're making mistakes. I talked in the last kind of one of these types of videos about the poop sandwich and how quantity over quality is so important in the beginning, and that still reigns true here. As much as you can to get to a point where you can start getting some concrete feedback to where you're now doing some stuff right and a few things wrong, and you can focus on those wrong things one at a time. This is how you improve quickly. This is how you get better faster. This is how you truly learn, in my opinion. Alright, that's all my crazy talk for this video. If you don't know, new videos will be uploaded every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so be on the lookout for those. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you have any ideas, topics, characters that you want to see me sculpt in the future, please post those down below in the comments. Hope you learned something new, maybe got a little inspired, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.